If you love LIV, that's fine. If you enjoy it, you're allowed to enjoy it. We're allowed to have other thoughts on it.
Everybody always wanted to call me Dr. J, and I would always tell people I'm not a doctor, so not Dr. J, just stuck.
The divide between those who love LIV Golf and those who hate LIV Golf is deep. In this episode of Big Boy Pants Golf, I'm going to highlight the key points that separates the LIV haters from the LIV supporters. In this case, the LIV haters will be represented by Rick Shiels and Guy Charnock, and I brought in, as the LIV supporter, a guy who's backed me up many times and whom I've backed up on Twitter, Pro Golf Critic, aka Not Dr. J, aka Jay. We're going to compare and contrast these two mindsets and help you become a better person.
Jake Paul and Tommy Fury fought, and I watched it. I paid for it. I'll hold my hands up. I was not holding their hands up today, but I'll hold my hands up. I paid £20 sterling.
The fact that Guy Charnock paid £20 to watch the Jake Paul Tommy Fury fight was of great interest to me. And for those at home, of course, I watched it on YouTube for free. There's always someone who, after the fight, will upload a less than stellar quality, but good enough that you feel like you benefited by not paying for the fight quality. To the person who posted that Tommy Fury Jake Paul video, not all heroes wear capes. Anyway, let's get back to the main point here. Guy Charnock watches Tommy Fury and Jake Paul fight, and where do they fight? In Saudi Arabia. But let's look back 9 months ago to see how Guy Charnock addressed the situation with LIV Golf and the Saudi Arabia money then.
Obviously, there's a Saudi thing, which obviously naturally gets a lot of people not happy about it, which I understand. Is the fact it's coming from Saudi so fundamentally wrong in so many people's opinions and minds, they will never give it a chance and they will never entertain it.
This brings up a key issue related to LIV haters. They're always changing the goalposts. They're always flip-flopping, and the fact that they're never consistent shows that no matter what you do and no matter what the LIV Golf Tour and Greg Norman does, they're never going to like LIV. So there's no point in trying to appease them.
To watch Jake Paul and Tommy Fury because I am a sucker for the hype.
So Guy is actually pulled in by all the fake drama from Jake Paul and Tommy Fury that's been building up on YouTube over the weeks. Definitely very much high school level. Yet he's adamantly turned off by the LIV Golf promo. What world am I living in?
And I must admit, I pay for a lot of these big fights because the weeks and the days before it, I get absolutely suckered in by all the YouTube clips.
So then Guy says that what really pulls him in is the fact that both guys are so sure they're going to win. And it's like this clashing of egos. But one of them has to lose. And then he pontificates, but if only golf could get something like that. And when I'm watching this, I'm thinking, that's what LIV does with the team formats when the guys are up on stage talking a little bit of trash.
If golf could get something like that, imagine how, like, if you had Tiger and John Rahm against each other going, no, I'm going to win. No, I'm going to win. No, you're not. I'm going to ruin your career.
Well,
This need for hype and buildup, treasured by Guy, is how Rick awkwardly pivots into the whole LIV Golf Tournament first event of the 2023 season. And remember, the LIV Golf Tournament was up against the Honda Classic, where if you look at the top 10 on the Honda Classic leaderboard, there's like 3 or 4 guys you've never heard of before. And probably total combined PGA Tour wins of the top 10, less than 10 PGA Tour wins. We are in dire times when Guy and Rick, both LIV Golf haters, want to call out LIV, but not call out the Honda Classic and this whole new 2-tier PGA Tour system.
It's the hype, it's the build-up.
So now Rick jumps in and saying that he needs the hype and the build-up, and there really wasn't anything of particular interest to him in the golf world, so he didn't watch any golf this weekend.
Why weren't you bothered?
It just doesn't seem to excite me at the moment.
Rick then goes on and saying how last week when you had the Waste Management Open, he was super into golf because you had Scotty Scheffler and Rory. They're all battling it out. So Rick is actually highlighting the PGA Tour dual tier system where you have the designated events, 13 per year. You have to play in 12 out of the 13 to get your PIP money, Player Impact Program. That's PIP. And then he doesn't want to watch the other events nor the LIV Golf events for some reason.
In certain spells. So last week I was saying how amazing the product is, and it is. When it's the right people at the right tour event, I'm like so into it.
As I pointed out in my last video, Rick Shiels pretended he had no idea where the golf tournament was for the LIV Golf Tour. he knew it was in Mexico and he didn't know the course. And then I pointed out that the PGA Tour has been playing at the Mayakoba since 2007. At least here, he fesses up to his ignorance.
Yes.
It was in Mexico, and I said something stupid last week. It's a golf course that I've never heard of. Well, I didn't realise it was that golf course where they do the PGA Tour.
This brings up a key trait of most LIV haters: ignorance. Just something to think about, because anytime you talk to a LIV hater, they usually have all the facts wrong, and then you have to correct them. And even after you correct them, they won't change their opinion because they want the facts to fit their opinion and not vice versa.
Ultimately, it doesn't feel like it means anything when they win.
Rick is puzzled as to why he isn't interested in LIV. And then Guy, his handler, steps in and explains to him, even though that LIV has all these big names, ultimately, it doesn't mean anything when someone wins on the LIV Golf Tour. Why don't you hold the PGA Tour to these same standards? That's why no one cares about the 3M Open or all these other second-tier PGA Tour events. And basically, most people only care about the majors. But you don't say this about the other PGA Tour tournaments. You only focus this negative energy, this double standard, if you will, on the LIV Golf Tour. So then Guy goes on in terms of this, what does it mean when you win on the LIV Golf Tour, and compares it to boxing and football, European football.
One's going to lose, and you can't, but the way they're talking so passionately in interviews, you can't believe it. So ultimately, there's something on the line, whether it be silverware or whether it be ego.
And says, well, you know, one guy's got to end up on the pitch crying, and the other guy's got to be holding the silverware.
It was more the fact that they're so arrogant and cocky, which you have to be a boxer, and confident. The other thing I don't like as well, a lot of the people that are potentially going playing, the way they're going about and things they're saying, it's really, they're not nice.
To drive home the point, Rick Shiels purports to be this big golf fan. He's always looking on his phone about golf results. And then he says he couldn't even find the results readily.
I had to even do quite a bit of digging to find out who actually won.
You couldn't just quickly Google winner LIV Golf Tour Mayakoba, winner golf LIV Mexico. The fact that you protest so much and tried to look down upon the significance of this tournament just shows you're a LIV hater.
I don't know, a bit disheartened the fact it wasn't as easy to watch as it was last year.
Last year it was on YouTube. Now it's on the CW Plus app or the LIV Plus app. If anything, going on the LIV Plus app makes it easier to watch. You just download it and then you find it on your phone, boop, and you can watch it.
Weirdly, the app is called LIV Golf Plus, and when you search for it, it doesn't actually come up until about the 12th app down, weirdly, which shouldn't make sense, but that was how I found it. And it might have gone up the rankings, as obviously it's getting downloaded more.
Just another little subtle dig by Guy, LIV Golf hater.
They actually really are tied in. They have to play 14 events a year, which they cannot miss.
So then Guy and Rick go on their little LIV Golf hate fest, pointing out that as per this league rules or as per the contracts, LIV Golf players have to play 14 tournaments here, which they can't miss, which is pretty much standard for anyone playing in the NFL or any sports team. You're supposed to play all the events.
One of the big reasons they all claimed to go over was less golf.
And comparing the 14 events on the LIV Golf Tour versus the 13 designated events, you can only miss one, and then you have to get special permission, I guess, from Jay Monahan. So those PGA Tour players are locked in if they want to get their PIP money, and to keep your tour membership, you have to play a minimum of 15 tour events. So LIV Golf players aren't free to pick and choose, but neither are really the players who are trying to get the PIP money on the PGA Tour because they have their designated events they have to fulfill. And to be a PGA Tour member, you got to play a minimum of 15 tour events a year. And these are 4 rounds rather than 3. So a PGA Tour player like John Rahm, who wants to play on the European Ryder Cup team, will have to fulfill his PGA Tour requirements, plus play 4 more tournaments on the DP World Tour so that he can be eligible for the European Ryder Cup team. Once you compare and contrast these actual numbers and the fact that the LIV golfers only play 54 holes versus the PGA Tour playing 72 holes, they do actually play significantly less golf if they so desire.
They're actually going to be playing arguably as much golf, if not maybe more golf, potentially.
Again, LIV Golf haters typically struggle getting the facts right.
Kind of Brooks Koepka seems to be the name that keeps getting thrown around, that he's not particularly enjoying it.
Ah, yes, the main weapon of the LIV Golf hater, and that's the use of rumors.
There's no fact to this. This is just what's been rumors.
So now Rick goes on this whole spiel about Brooks Koepka, as per rumors, not liking the LIV Golf Tour and wanting to go back to the PGA Tour. Completely unsubstantiated, but just another way to throw shade on the LIV Golf Tour.
I'm pretty sure the PGA Tour would take at least the first player back.
Rick seems to now think potentially that, like some kind of military contract, LIV players might have a clause in their contract where they cannot leave.
Surely. They might not be able to. There might literally be a clause that says you cannot leave it.
It might be a LIV Break 75 tour.
Could be. Or could have a Rick Shiels team.
Yeah.
See, would people support that?
I'm pretty sure the answer to that one is no. But in relation to this whole Break 75 and LIV, I do think that the LIV Golf Tour should institute a Siwon Kim rule, which means basically if you fail to break 80 3 times during any LIV Golf season, well, you finish that tournament, but then the next tournament, your team is able to pick one of the top 10 players on the Asian Tour to replace you. Because what Siwon Kim did this past weekend, his team should be able to instantly replace him.
Hey guys, this is not Dr. J. Some of you also know me as Pro Golf Critic. A lot of people want to know why not Dr. J. First of all, my name is Jay. Second of all, Julius Irving, the real Dr. J. He's a close family friend. Played golf with him many, many times. We actually won a Pro-Am together about, 8 years ago. Obviously, with him being close to the family, and I also wanted to be a doctor when I was a kid, a lot of people started calling me Dr. J. I'm a huge fan of the LIV Golf model. Been following it, really going back to the PGL discussions that have been floating around the last 4 or 5 years. Some of the things going on with LIV have been really interesting. The fact that I get messages almost every day from people saying LIV is the MAGA tour, it's the Trump tour. I mean, some of the dumbest things that you could possibly imagine. Look, first of all, this is golf. First and foremost, I'm a black man from San Francisco. I'm not MAGA. I'm not really a Trump supporter. No, it's kind of funny though. I met Donald Trump about 10 years ago at his course in LA. It was actually my dad and I, was Father's Day. And he was super nice to us. Like, he treated us really, really great. And this is like at the very height of sort of the Obama birther movement. And it just kind of tipped me off that, politics has just a lot of pandering that you need to do to get votes. And I think Trump has done that really, really well the last 7 or 8 years. But, I'm a black man from San Francisco. I've been pretty liberal my entire life, although being in San Francisco, when you're considered a slightly left of middle liberal, you're like ultra conservative to a lot of people. So I also, right after college, I campaigned a little bit for Nancy Pelosi and for Dianne Feinstein out here. And that may lose me some followers, but look, you guys have gotta know who I am. I decided to kind of come out of the shadows a little bit. Never really planned on sort of doing anything related to doing videos or anything like that. So it's just something that kind of popped up. A lot of people kind of have started following me on Twitter, have read my articles that I've written. I've got a reputation now for having a lot of strong opinions, and for the people that do follow me and sort of follow the things that I say, and I think you have a right to know a little bit more about me. So, that's my primary motivation for doing this. There's been a lot of changes to the rosters. People are always going to sort of downplay some of the new signings that they have and whatever. Look, I'm very happy with the rosters LIV has. If you were to rewind a full calendar year and I was to tell you these are the players that were going to be playing on LIV Golf in 2023, you would have been impressed. So people are going to try to downplay it. It's part of the deal. This is only their first full year. 2024, they're going to have more good players. This is not going away. And the people who think that this is going away, I hate to break it to you, but you're in for some disappointment. But you've already been disappointed because you didn't think LIV was even going to be a thing. You didn't think LIV was going to get any good players, that they weren't going to get any sponsors, that they weren't going to get on TV. Look, all those things to me were obvious that they were going to happen. So I think the sooner people just accept that LIV is here, it's going to be around, they have a solid plan for the next decade.
When you compare and contrast the general vibe of Rick and Guy, both of whom are LIV haters, with that of Jay, a LIV supporter, my observation is that LIV haters are the type of people who will tell you all the reasons why something won't work, while the LIV supporters are those kind of people that find a way to make things work.